If you look things intelligent, well, I'll say intelligently. Let's look at this. Yeah, I guess you can look at things intelligently. If you look at things intelligently, molecular manipulation has always been the underlying issue with human beings, whether they're cognizant of it or not. 'Cause past, present, future operate at the same time. Coming into the city, the town, or the village, and raping, killing all the children, raping the women, trying to replace, and animals will do similar things to perpetuate what they see as the security of their own molecular existence, right? And so, Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, right? And so, but the cool thing about Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John is that's have faith in God and faithfully, eternally love one another. But yet we still have Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, right? And he's not trying to, come through and be Goliath and kill off all your seed in replace of his. And you see, and so obviously the standard of human behavior is Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, right? And not Goliath any further, and not Pharaoh, and not Caesar, and and so when you try to manipulate relationships to conquer and live through molecular manipulation, manipulating situations, they're not faithful. Your kid is going to be like you. Okay. So he's going to, in trying to, because he's not you. Okay. Okay. You have molecular transfiguratory states of being, but you don't reproduce yourself. Right? But through the female line, it reproduces one similar to you. And apparently, from scientific evidence, regardless of the male host, right? So you can have Adam, Moses, David, John, and Adam is a large black man, and then by the time you get to Jesus, he's not, and then by the time you get to Earl, no, right? And so, and it goes consistently through the Holy Grail, through the women that produce these men that have the temple for the spirit, and Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. So, and then people, okay, it's selfish, it's self-worship. No, it's not. It's not self-worship, and it's not selfish at all. Okay. It's just, faith, the old Mormon song, that gets it wrong. I am a child of God. You're not a child of God. Okay. And he is not. No. Okay. I am a child of faith in God. Okay. Okay. There's no God but God, and God is not begotten, nor is God begotten. God always is, always has been, and always will be. Okay. So trying to take yourself and make yourself into the direct offspring of God is a bastardization of infinite glory, right? And that's a sin. It's wrong. It's trying to take God, omniscient, omnipotent, and turn it into a projection of your egotistical, finite delusions of self, right? Which is wrong, right? And so, wow, Fraggonot. Okay, I'm just making shit up. I'm just being silly. Right. So, Earl. Well, a lot of things that you got to sit here and kind of look at and get your brain wrapped around and understand intellectually, be intelligent is life being eternal and grace being infinite, and being accountable for your own thoughts, words, and actions, and your own relativity. I'm the guy from the Book of Revelation, and I was 3 years and 9 months old during the Spencer J. Kimball speech that was read during Easter, okay, at the Mormon church. And I sat and listened because I was required to, because it was serious. It was the prophet was speaking. And of course, this 3-year-old, 9-month kid, when I got home, like, no, he's wrong. And my mom was the only one going, I think Earl has a point. My dad and my sister Linda, oh no, Earl, you don't understand. We're not good enough. He has to die to pay for us being bad, right? And my mom was like, no, me and Earl have adult type conversation. He talks to me intelligently, and and I think the little boy has a point here. And when you sit down, and his logic is impeccable, right? And it was, okay, and it still is, okay. So that means Spencer J. Kimball is wrong, right? You cannot. It's wrong to quit the guilty and deny justice to the innocent. Is basically what I said there. Okay. And I was 3 years, not even 4 years old yet. But I was required to listen to this man who was the head of the Church of Latter-day Saints, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is a corporation, right? And he was telling us how to properly worship Jesus Christ. And I don't worship Jesus Christ, but I do worship like Jesus Christ. And it's wrong to try to kill innocent Jesus to save you from your guilty self. A dog could figure that one out, right? Hell, John Wick could explain that to you if you had a coherent conversation with him, if he actually existed, right? You're funny. Could he? I don't know. I think so. I think if you sat down and took high potential Elizabeth, Matlock, and John Wick and said, here's the situation. My parents went away for a week vacation. Okay. We're in corduroy. Parents just don't understand, right? So, but no, you should be able to, understand what I just said and that I'm right and Spencer J. Kimball was wrong, right? Which means there's something special about that little Earl, born July 19th, 1966 in Las Cruces, which is why his life story is in the Bible and yours is not, right? And you got to take that, you have to accept that, right? You have to accept that. You have to understand, that's why his story is in the book of Revelation before he's born, why corporations were studying him, and why he's the redeemer of the messiahs and the gospels, and you are not, and you doing stupid shit on TV for money you're guilty, right? So you got all these people abusing this man who's been explaining to you how wrong your corporations are since before, wow, how long did we live in Griggs? It was about a year or two. I still had diapers on. Well, I didn't have time to potty train. I was busy. I'm just kidding around. But I think, I think we lived on Griggs for about 2 years or so, I think. Because we moved out of there shortly before my little sister, Patrice, was born. Okay. We moved into that house before she was born. Because they went to the hospital and we had to go to the Armitages. And I remember that. Then we came back and here was little Patrice. And so we were already near the Armitages house and staying at the, and living in the house. And, and we were at Griggs. So we moved to the house near San Pablo shortly after that Easter. Okay. Because we were living in there and we had gone to visit the Armitages and they probably helped us move, I would imagine, because, Roger had Ryan and Russell and Ryan, had bigger kids and stuff. So they were good people and they were good friends. So I imagine they helped. I don't know. I was a little kid, so I was just probably busy, trying to stay out of the way and playing. When you're that age and that size, they just kind of turn you loose and get out of the way, right? And so I remember some aspects, but some aspects, I do remember playing, Dad made the sandbox. He built the sandbox, The treehouse was already there, but I don't think I was up in it when I was that little. I don't recall. I know they had It's not good for the tree, but they had literally nailed boards into the side of the tree, so you had like a ladder to climb up. And then the tree house was boards nailed into the tree to keep you from falling out, so you could sit up in there. It wasn't really a tree house; it was a big mulberry tree with a, or was it? Yeah, I think it was a mulberry tree. Big mulberry tree with the center portion you could get up and climb around and sit in, but it had these boards nailed onto the branches, so you could sit in there and not fall out. And some of the branches went in a way where you could actually sit. That's why Punch had the chair up in there and stuff. So I do recall a lot of things. Central Park and Fall. No, never been. You tore your dress. What a mess, I confess. Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön. Cute song. I have that on my MP3. I haven't heard it in like forever. But I know I've got it on both of them. But, I got lots of music on my, thousands of songs on there. So some are played repetitively a lot, and some are hardly ever played. So it's interesting the way that NASA wants to keep your brain in a certain, it's your music and you have it and you play it, and but you're still being, even with you, you know what I mean? Oh, interesting. I wonder how the new MP3 players, when you put them on shuffle, how they're going to work. That it actually will be a random, instead of playing similar songs over and over again, because you're being mind fucked by people that make you want to think that Jennifer Lopez is your forever love, Barack Obama is your best friend. They just can't get to you in time to save you, but they're trying. You mean like Philip trying to save Sleeping Beauty? And oh yeah, I get it. Okay. And you won't read that book again because the ending's just too hard to take? You're funny. I know. But I was sitting there watching poor Sarah Vaughan have to play the White House, It's supposed to be this big honor. They mass murder people at the White House, guys. They sign agreements to mass murder people at the White House, okay? America's calling, Harry Truman. Harry, won't you please come home? Hey, guys, okay? They declare war on other countries and mass murder people over economic conflict. Sign pieces of paper to acquire land legally and then go mass murder the people living on it and call it manifest destiny. Okay? I'd never want to, quote, play the White House or visit the White House after winning a propaganda trophy for a championship for corporations. No. It's not my cup of meat. When Quinn the Eskimo gets here, all the bitches, come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Quinn. No, just not my idea of it's not my idea of a match, okay? How to offend women in 5 syllables or less, right? What else is there? Living the Lord's Prayer. Okay, that's beautiful. Right. Okay. How to offend egomaniacs in 5 syllables or less. Okay. Race to your death, John Bob. But Speed. They called me Speed. That's Stephen Wright. He was a funny comedian in his time. He's the guy on the couch in Half Baked, right? Okay. He has a dog. He had a dog. He called it Stay. He said, "Come here, Stay. Come here, Stay." Now he just ignores me and keeps writing his memoirs on his typewriter. It's funny. I was like, that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny joke. It's okay. So what do you know for funny? But no, Stephen Wright. Yeah, he's funny. Very monotone monologue. Yeah. He's guy on the couch from Guy on the Couch from Half Baked. Yeah. He's a stand-up comedian also. Oh, okay. Yeah, like a lot of the people that they got high with on the was how many stand-up comedians were getting high with them with the I don't know. Did John Daly start out as a stand-up comedian? Oh, so lots of people are stand-up comedians. Thought Don Rickles was a better sit-down comedian than a stand-up. But because he's funnier when he sits down, he's obnoxious when he stands up. It's like he's obnoxious when he sits down, yeah, but he seems more kind and genuine when they talk to him on the talk shows, and he gets up, does his stand-up routine. So you're saying he's a funny person? No, Don Rickles was funny. Yeah, he's very funny. Obnoxious? Yeah, a lot of funny people are very obnoxious. What about Andrew Dice Clay? He wasn't really funny when you sit and listen to it. It's just downright obnoxious, but obnoxious people laugh at it because they think it's funny, but it's really just kind of not, you know. And so, but to each his own, to each his own, right? But it's wrong to acquit the guilty and deny justice to the innocent. So it's wrong to be multi-millionaires or billionaires, laughing at the pain of others and making jokes about it, to be a billionaire and keep indoctrinating people with propaganda, right? And now we have quantum computing. Okay, quantum computing. I cannot overemphasize this, Jesus, has told me that too. This is a different time, Earl. You're raised in a different time. And what applies to you and applies to me in our lives is radically different. Suzuki keeps telling me that too. I'm like, but no, you're not Bob Marley. You're not Chadwick Boseman. You're not Haile Selassie. This is a different time. This is a different place. You are the 22nd Redeemer. You redeem the Gospels. The planet, okay, gets to heal from human abuse and mass murder because you redeem the Gospels, Earl. Your body and your mind, once this is completed, you're radically, the rapture. Oh, yeah, that's cool. So, and it's just hard with all these brain injuries and these constant attacks on my brain and my body because of people that have trapped the spirit in their ego and make life just horrible. And it is horrible. It's horrible to be archaic and get in vehicles and go compete over advertising money and manipulate things over advertising money and hold necessities hostage, and then have people get together narcissistically and be excessive and compulsive on their physical appearance and their sexual desirability to shallow people, and then use them for marketing to hold necessities hostage and make it feel like they're successful when they're participating in it. So it's, I'm watching an Experian commercial, right? And it's like, it's disturbing. Sad. Sad is Emily and Kate not being able to spend time with the man they call daddy, that they know loves them, and that is one of the most amazing lovers in the history of the world and has the documentation to back it up and then proved it beyond any reasonable doubt. So that's sad. Okay. Sad as Noah telling me, if I'd stayed with his mom, he would have killed me because he's being abused by you perverts. Sad as Patrick not talking to me because people are calling him saying, hey, this guy owes us money, and stuff. What? And him and his girl treating me like shit because of political shenanigans through a bunch of pervert home invasion, signing on a piece of paper, he signed your bill, there's a law. That's sad. Sad as my Amy and my Stephanie being products of military sexual abuse and their psychological damage affecting me, and have them abusing me because they thought I should be able to stop it and correct it. And the only way I could do that is become one of the assholes on TV that are the cause of it. That's sad. Okay. Lasagna. Okay. Sell us a bag with a cat's face on it, a cat's photograph on it, and become a multimillionaire. Right. And just totally ignore the living Messiah and don't even consider living the Lord's Prayer a day in your rotten little fucking pathetic existence. Sir, it's a 10,000 year curse on the earth? I think it might be close to about 100,000. I think the 10,000 year curse on the earth is people having the capacity to get together and communicate intelligently and denying it because they're selfish. I think in ancient times, there wasn't really that capacity to globally communicate and understand and try to apply in physics the beauty of the Hajj, the beauty of the faith at the Last Supper, that kind of stuff. But now we've got quantum computing. Okay, because the selfish had to invent something to try to replace people like me with their ego and say that their ego was more capable of saving the world than the faith of a eternal, faithful, protecting lover. Okay? The only reason we're going to be able to use quantum computing to protect children from perverts is because of people like me, and not because of the people that required the invention of technology that they made to try to keep their position of manipulation and delusions of authority intact. They did not make quantum computing in order to shelter the truth of the Gospels. And that's obvious, because we didn't have quantum computing back in when it was obvious this is the guy, he's the real deal, he's the good guy, everybody knows it. We should be more like Earl and less like the assholes on TV doing fucked up shit for money because they got ego problems, right? Save the female rapper, save the world, right? If you could take a little girl like Javon Roofpeed, okay, and explain to her, you don't need a big bag of money to sexually procreate. And you should save your capacity to sexually procreate for a man who's not thinks is dick's God's gift to women, and will protect people from people that I'll take whatever I want and then I'll fuck whoever I want to because I took it and no one can stop me from taking it. She should be able to sit there and go, yeah, fuck going to college for money. And fuck going to their buildings to get money to fuck. That's all fucked. We should all demand that a man is like this I'm not that old, okay, old enough. This 59-year-old gorgeous white guy in New Mexico whose life is the source of our religious books that we talk about. When this happens, we'll all live world peace. Right, well, it should be obvious by now, right? So, if you could do that, hell, you could do just about anything to help people live kind, faithful, humble, beautiful, David and Psalmistic lives, right? So let's, Jesus, forgive them, trespass, love, and eternal faithful peace. And then all the women say, okay, if it ain't David or Solomon, if that guy ain't like David or Solomon, I don't want to have kids with him. I don't want to, I will not willingly take wedding vows and marry him and willingly have his kid. He's either going to, and since my religious beliefs don't allow me to commit suicide, he's just going to have to rape me. But then I'm going to raise his kid to be like the man he tried to kill and get rid of, and not to be like the rapist that fucked me and told me I need money to fuck, right? Get it? Okay. And don't ever let a bunch of fucking walking dicks call you a stallion. A woman being a mare, Cuban was one of the most beautiful horses in the whole world. And Oblige, he kicked the shit out of you, tried to kill his mom. Okay. Fist from the cradle, defending his mother's honor. Yeah, that Holy Quran's got a lot of beautiful reflection of our eternal spirit of Abraham and Muhammad. All right.